A few years ago, I met an old fella with a passion, and he's kind of stuck in my mind. I feel like I'm saying these nursing stories all the time now, but these kind of stories pop into my head here and there. Today, I was doing 3 hours of training, doing a whole bunch of freaking sets with light weight, just going through the motions, enjoying the craft, enjoying squatting every day, enjoying doing these IDLs, genuinely enjoying my time in the garage. And my mind kind of started racing around, and I thought about this old fella. He was in the mid-80s. I met him in hospital. He came in with something not so severe. And I remember I was, with him, and I was doing his blood pressure, hourly observations in ED. I happened to kind of start chatting to him, and I said to him, you got a really good blood pressure, man. Are you on medication? He said, no, I've kind of avoided doctors all my life. And, he giggled. And I remember he said, the more you stay out of hospital, the healthier you are. He said, doctors make you sick, or is it the other way around? You come to see doctors when you're sick. Had a bit of a chuckle. I said, what did you used to do? How did you kind of stay away from chronic disease and whatnot? And in fact, every time I meet somebody that's kind of in their 90s, met more than a few people that have been in the hundreds. And I always kind of ask them, what's the secret? How do you stay fit for so long? How did you, keep away from all the chronic disease, especially in the world we live right now with all the crap, all the comfort, all the crappy food. I feel like a lot of quality has entered our lives through many different kind of technological advances, but a lot of quality has also left us. Quality of food is deteriorated. The quality of our exercise, has deteriorated because of cars, because of lifts, because of all these wonderful things that we've had for many years now. I said to him, what did you used to do? He said he was a mechanic. And I said, what sort of mechanic? He said, I built engines. And so, I'm a car guy, and I said, what sort of engines? And he started talking to me. He was building Chevys. And the moment we started talking about this, you could see that this man lit up. He found a guy that he could share his passion with. And for that reason, he's stuck in my mind. This is an 80-year-old man getting excited, talking about something that he's giving literal his whole life to. He said he started being a mechanic at 15, 16 years old. His dad taught him everything. And as I was talking to him, his own son was sitting next to him in the hospital, and he was kind of jumping in and filling in the holes. He basically, they've got a business now. The old man started a business, Chevy engines that were in sort of like, I don't know what it's called, but he was speedboat racing, and then he kind of started building engines for that. They were racing them, and they started building cars. And so now they've got this garage here in Adelaide. They kind of they restore these old Chevys and old cars, these old muscle cars. And he's, really proud of building engines. And so I threw in, he said, what do you drive? And, I'm like, I'm into the Jap cars. I've had a couple of S15s, and I'm telling him about the SR20. And I'm telling him about my current car, the Evo 7, the 4G63, and I'm comparing the engines. And, he's telling me about turbo cars, supercharged cars. And as we were talking, man, the guy was literally, flowering. And that energy is what stuck with me. This is why I kind of thought about him as I was kind of going through my kind of building engines. Instead of, I'm not building engines, I'm freaking building my body. I'm trying to build a freaking forklift out of myself. I'm trying to deadlift 300, squat 300. So I'm thinking about my problems. He's thinking about pistons and conrods and cranks and, heads and flow and all that sort of stuff. And I'm thinking about range of motion, intensity, volume, weakest, what's the weakest link in here? How do I strengthen this stuff? And so him and I kind of clicked. I mean, the general the general connection was that I'm also a big fan of cars and grew up watching Fast and the Furious. They got me stuck into it. And I've had many friends around me who, spend a lot of money on cars, and I've spent a lot of money on, before kids and before, family, I spent a lot of money on mods and intercoolers and exhausts and turbos and all this sort of stuff. And, so we kind of clicked on that. And for me, it was remarkable that here was a guy that was in his mid-80s, still loving to talk about his work. And I thought to myself, man, this is a rare human being, man. How many people love talking about something that they freaking put 80 years into? Like that's a pretty remarkable thing. If you think about the majority of people walking the earth are not doing something that they love. I saw some stats somewhere that something like 80 or 90% of the world, I think it's closer to 90% of the world, if not even higher, are doing work which they don't love. They're just simply doing it to survive. to get some money to pay off the mortgage, to live, shelter, food, all that stuff, the necessities. And here is a guy who's found a way to love, or he's found how to monetize his love. Now, at 15 years old, he probably didn't have a clue that he loved it. Or maybe he did, I don't know. But the fact that he stayed with something that he loved for so long. Like a lot of people, I remember telling me in high school, don't do nursing, it doesn't pay enough, and you should be an engineer, it pays more. It's like people are making big time decisions about what they're going to do with their life purely on the monetary side. Man, money's got nothing to do with it. If you've got enough money to feed yourself and put a roof over your head and make sure everyone in your family is well fed and clothed and all of that, that's where it ends, man. Like my mate keeps telling me every day, man, like not every day, but he's mentioned it a few times. This has been a proven fact. Somebody got a freaking Nobel Peace Prize, if I'm not mistaken, for this actual discovery. That's something like over $60,000. If you earn more than $60,000 a year, every dollar that you earn after that is not going to make you any more happier. Literally, peak of happiness is $60,000. So when people say more money, more happiness, it's not like that, man. And we see examples of it all the time. People blow their brains out who are millionaires. I've spoken about Kurt Cobain before. At the peak of his powers, man, like the number one band in the world. He committed suicide. Obviously, the drugs and all that sort of involved. But you'd think, like, if you're a multi-millionaire, you're very, very happy. It's not the case. At $60,000, you're pretty much as happy as the guy who's driving in the Lambo. Because all the necessary things are there. Like you're sheltered, you're fed, you're watered, you're sleeping in a warm bed. All that stuff is afforded for you. So judging our career paths purely because, engineering pays $200,000, nursing pays $80,000, that job over there is going to make me twice as happy. It's not the case, man. If you don't love engineering, it's not going to make you happier. So if you can earn $60,000 doing what you love, dude, you've hit the lottery, man. And the craziest thing is, if you love to do that thing, you will excel at it. So this old man that I was talking to, he loved the shit out of those engines, man. He built them with his heart. And so other people noticed that. The performance of the engines, the longevity of the engines. People will come in, probably, I'm just picturing this. People will come in to service their cars, and he's like, yeah, man, not just servicing them, but returning it to the customer with love. And people feel that. People feel love. So when you talk to somebody that's into cabinet making and he's there frothing at the freaking mouth of a freaking chisel, you're like, that's the guy I want to buy furniture from, man. He's freaking loving this thing. But if you walk up to a guy and he's like, screw this crap. If I see another screwdriver, I'm going to stick it through your eyeball. Well, when you walk up to get your chair from that guy, you're like, all right, I'm not going to be coming back here. So when you find people who are fortunate enough to have found that one thing, man, that they love, man, it's a beautiful thing. Now, I've met a lot of people through nursing, man. This is the weird thing about my job, man. I meet a lot of people through my job. There's like 140 nurses on the roster, 150 nurses on our roster. That's a lot of people that rotate through the place, decent size hospital. And then there's probably another 50, 60, 70 doctors, if not more than that. And then there's also like the specialist teams around the hospital that come down and see patients. I converse with a lot of people. Add patients in, we see like 150, 140 patients a day in ED. So it's a lot of people, a lot of chatter that I've kind of been exposed to. And you look after these people, and there's like a rapport that you develop with people that are kind of you're looking after. And so I've met a lot of people, a lot of different reviews of life, and a lot of people in their 90s and a lot of people in their hundreds. And I can tell you that it's really rare to find people that actually love what they do. Man, that old man stuck out in my mind like nothing else, man. I kept thinking about him. Today's I'm going through the motion here. Decided to take a light day. Trying to wash away that fatigue from yesterday. Going through the RDLs, the 3-inch deficits I decided to do. Just to add a bit more kind of range of motion, feel the hamstrings a bit more. And I'm doing all of this. All of a sudden I'm like, man, I've been here for 3 damn hours, man. I've been here for 3 hours. And it just flew by. Like, it wasn't like 3 hours of work, right? You go 3 hours, you sit at triage, it's like, okay, sometimes you get busy and whatever time flies in ED, but man, I'm sitting here, no one's talking to me. It's just like a chilled out session. I'm with my weights, minimal distractions, and 3 hours just went by so quick. Man, that's a sign that you love what you do, man. And it's also a sign that these type of ingredients are going to make you successful. If you're willing to throw 3 hours a day into this thing, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. Like, that's what life is about. I mean, not all of us are fortunate enough to have found that one thing. And I often hear people say, man, like, I've had a whole bunch of time off work. I got freaking bored. I couldn't wait to get back to work. And I'm like, man, that is so far away from what I think about myself. Like, I'm never bored, man. If I have, say, my family goes away, the wife and the kids have to go somewhere or whatever, and I've got 3-4 hours to myself, what do you think I'll do, man? I'm not sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm so bored, I want to play with the kids, I want to do something. No, man, there's so many freaking things I'd rather do, man. So many things. You know, on top of the weightlifting thing, I've got things to do around the house. Like, I want to, now, speaking about the old man, I said to him this, man, you know, for a very long time, I've been into cars. For a very long time. But I've never had the time, I've never had the money, I've never had the opportunity. Maybe I had the opportunity, but never really never peaked at the top of my list. I've always wanted to pull an engine out of a car. Okay, just pull the damn thing out. You know, get the lifter, strap it on, take the thing off, however I need to take it off. Just pull it out, strip the engine, and just have a freaking look, man. And literally teach myself how to build an engine. Of course, that is an advanced skill. I'm not saying it's easy to build an engine. Of course, the first time I do it, I'll probably blow it up. But I just want to have a look. That's just part of me. Like, I want to see the inner workings of an engine. I've seen parts. I've been surrounded by cars, friends and whatnot. I've seen things, but I've never done the work myself. So that's one thing I would want to do. So before I would call up the hospital and be like, hey guys, I'm really bored on this freaking holiday. Can I just come into work because I'm just going to shoot myself in the head because I'm so bored? Man, there's so many, like I can think of 50 different things I'd rather do than go to work out of boredom. I'm not saying my work is crap. I enjoy my work. You know, some days I really enjoy it. Some days it can get freaking tiring and just want to get the hell out of there. But I would never go to work out of boredom. So, yeah, I've spoken to people. I've asked people this question all the time. If I gave you like $1 billion, some stupid amount of money, would you do this job? A lot of people say, no way. I'll just, you know, go do other things, follow my passions and whatever. A few people say, yeah, I'd come in. I enjoy nursing. I enjoy doing doctoring and all that stuff. So there's people like that as well. I mean, being a doctor and being a nurse it's a noble job, don't get me wrong. Like, you actually go home feeling good about yourself. You'll help this person in need and all that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, I would always kind of stay a nurse. I think I'd come in once or twice a week, you know, because I feel good doing the work. It's kind of like all these people that are kind of like millionaires. They set up charities and they donate their time, donate their money, their resources, because they feel good to do that. That's how nursing feels to me, man. So that aspect I understand, but that's a different motivation altogether. Like, I'm not going to work because I'm bored. I'm going to work because I want to go to work, or because freaking I'm hungry and I got to put a roof over my head. But this stuff here, man, like, this is my engine building. You know, I reckon when I'm 85 years old, you know, if I'm in hospital and some 25-year-old guy comes up to me, 30-year-old guy comes up to me and he's like, what did you do? I'm like, man, I squatted for 1 billion days in a row, man. And I'm going to put a smile on my face like nobody's business. The guy's going to look at me like, you kidding me? You squatted for that many days in a row, man? I'm like, hell yeah, man. I loved every minute of it. And he's probably going to see the energy in me. Like, no one put a gun to my head for this. I did this because I freaking loved it. And love knows love. You know what I mean? Like, if that cabinet maker met the engine builder, they would connect. Because, you know, like, the different fields all together, but the love is there. It's kind of like these people know each other. You know, because there's a lot of similarities in, you know, putting your life work into something. That's special, man. This is why the old man stuck in my head. This is why he stuck out from the rest, because most people that, when I say to them, what did you do? They're like, I did this. And it's like a short answer, just bang, like, yes, I did this, I did that. This fella, he was like, man, this short block, this 7-liter monster I built, I ran this time on the speedboat, I did this, I did that. I said to him, man, like, if I brought my Evo to you, what would you do to it? And, you know, we started talking about that, and I was like, hell yeah, man, like, let's run 1,000 kilowatts with this thing. I think he said to me something along the lines of, like, we'll take that little, you know, pressure cooker out, we'll put a freaking 7-liter in there or something like that. But, you know, passion knows passion, man. And that guy stuck in my head. I don't even know what his name is. I know where his garage is. And he said to me, man, when I get out of hospital, man, just drop by, jump in and say hi. I'll show you a couple of the rides. Never actually did that, but that guy, man, that guy stayed in my mind. He's probably going to keep bouncing in my mind, in my memories for some time because of the energy, because of the love. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.